Hello everyone, welcome. In this video, we will walk you through the impact of the recently removed GST tax rates of 12% and 28% and the simple steps to update them in your Highrise ERP system. Because these rates are no longer applicable, we need to deactivate existing GST categories, tax masters, tax schemes, and their linked rate masters for material and labor. Don't worry, the system makes it straightforward. Let's see this in action.
Go to Accounts module. Under GST, select GST Categories menu. Here the new button called GST Inactivate Old GST Rate has been given. Deactivate existing GST categories. The first step is to deactivate existing GST categories in the Accounts module. These categories represent the various tax rate options in your system, such as CGST, SGST, and IGST with 6%, 12%, 14%, and 28% rates. By deactivating these categories, the outdated GST rates will no longer appear as selectable options during any future transactions. This helps ensure your business remains compliant with the latest GST rules and prevents accidental use of obsolete tax rates. Next, deactivate tax masters. You'll need to deactivate the relevant tax masters. When a tax rate like 12% or 28% is removed, its corresponding tax master 6%, 12%, 14%, 28% is no longer valid and should be disabled. So such tax master will no longer be available while creating new GST scheme. Deactivate tax schemes. Following that, it's important to deactivate the tax schemes linked to the removed rates. Deactivating the schemes for 12% and 28% ensures that transactions can no longer use these schemes and that your system's tax logic stays current and accurate. Deactivate linked rate masters for material and labor. Finally, rate masters for material and labor that are associated with the obsolete GST rates should be invalidate. Once these are invalidate, henceforth such rate master will not be available while raising new PO or work order. So let's start with process. When you click on GST Inactivate, the system will first show you a confirmation message. If you select Yes, GST categories and accounts will be deactivated. Else you can select No to abort the process. Once confirmed, the system will show you a second message. If you select Yes, it will deactivate the GST tax masters and tax schemes from the purchase module. This will also deactivate the linked rate masters for purchase and contracting. Else you can select No to abort the process. After you run the deactivation process, the system will first remove specific GST categories from the Accounts module. This includes the CGST and SGST categories at 6% and 14%, which are no longer applicable under the updated GST regime. Additionally, the system will remove the IGST categories for 12% and 28%. Next, the system will deactivate the relevant tax masters created in the purchase module. Since the 12% and 28% GST rates have been removed, all tax schemes linked to these rates must be disabled. Finally, the rate masters of purchase and contracting connected to these tax rates will also be deactivated. For existing purchase orders that have GST schemes with 12% and 28% tax rates, these orders need special attention. Since these tax rates have been deactivated, purchase orders cannot continue to use outdated GST schemes. Therefore, you must foreclose these existing purchase orders in the system and need to create new purchase orders reflecting the current valid GST rates and schemes. This ensures that all future procurement transactions will comply with the updated tax structure. For existing work orders that still use the 12% or 28% GST schemes, the ERP system provides flexibility. You can update the work orders without needing to foreclose them. To do this, go to the Work Order Tax Edit option in the system. Here, you can manually change the tax scheme from the old, deactivated GST rates to the new applicable rates. This allows ongoing projects and contracts to be updated swiftly, ensuring that their tax calculations align with the current GST regulations without disrupting your workflow or contract management.
By acting promptly, you safeguard accuracy, avoid tax errors, and ensure a smooth transition to the updated GST framework.